Well, good evening to all of you joining us for this last session of today as part of the European Research Days Indonesia 2020. My name is Susanne Ransovaso. I'm the regional representative of Euraxis ASEAN, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to tonight's session, where we will learn everything about research and funding opportunities in wonderful France. Now, before I hand over to our moderator, Dr. Jenny, tonight, and our two expert speakers, I would like to just briefly say a few words about Euraxis, the project that I'm working for, because I think it really is a fantastic tool for researchers that are interested in finding out about the opportunities to develop your research career in Europe and maybe to collaborate with European partners. Euraxis is a pan-European project. That means it is managed by all the European countries that are part of the European research area. So it is a project really dedicated to putting in one very convenient location all the information that you as international research talent need to know if you want to develop your career in Europe. Of course, a lot of you are mainly interested in finding out about the job and the funding opportunities that Europe has on offer. And we are hosting a jobs and funding portal on Euraxis, where you will find thousands of listings on a daily basis, research job opportunities, fellowships, other funding opportunities all across Europe, and also all across the Euraxis worldwide partner countries. So Euraxis really is a growing global network, and the opportunities are available for you. Euraxis also provides a partnering tool. Now, this is important if you are trying to build research connections, if you're looking for potential collaborators, if you're looking, for example, as an institution in Indonesia or in Asia, also for partner universities across Europe. I would very much like to encourage you to make use of Euraxis. Everything that we offer, of course, is free of charge. And I'd like to invite you to also put your details down in our partnering database so that other researchers across the world can find you and maybe touch base with you and start a collaboration. We're also having for you a hosting database. Now, a hosting database, these are concrete offers by European supervisors that are looking at research talent to come to their institution in Europe, maybe as PhD student, as postdoc researchers, or as other faculty members. So I think this will be particularly interesting for the early career researchers that are joining us today, that are looking maybe for supervisors in Europe and specifically in France for tonight. Now, there's a lot of information that you require as a mobile researcher. You want to know how is the research structure in Europe, who is carrying out research, where's the funding, but also what is it like to live in Europe as a researcher? How is it to bring your family along with you? And we have compiled all this information on the Euraxis website, and I think what makes this very attractive, we also have service centers all across Europe, and we have our Euraxis assistants there who are waiting to support you with your mobility experience. Now, as I said, Euraxis is not only in Europe. I am part of Euraxis worldwide, as is my new colleague, Dr. Jenny Almaco. We are based in Southeast Asia. We're part of Euraxis ASEAN, and we're here to really support you if you're interested in exploring opportunities in Europe. I've put here on the right this wonderful QR code, which leads you directly to our website. And there you will find information that's particularly relevant to researchers in Southeast Asia that are interested in exploring opportunities in Europe, because we do a lot of activities for you. Normally we would meet in person. Nowadays we've moved everything online, such as, of course, our European Research Days, which are in full swing right now. Lots and lots more opportunities coming up in the next 5 days. And I really invite you to just make use of these and join us for as many webinars as possible. So much from my side, and now it's my turn to hand over to my new colleague Jenny and to take the discussion from here. Please, Jenny, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Susan, and welcome everybody to European Research Day, Indonesia. I am very happy to be here with you. Just a little bit of a background, apart from being Susan's new colleague, I was an Erasmus scholar, and I also was a recipient of the Marie Curie Fellowship. So if you have other questions, please ask us and please ask my colleague. Tonight, we are very, very privileged to have two excellent speakers and experts when it comes to our partner focus, which is France. They are both from the Institut Français Indonesia, and they will be talking to us about opportunities in research opportunities in France. For Indonesians who are here, there's a lot of opportunities for you, and the research talent in Indonesia is also very great, so we can really see a lot of potential collaborations from you. So I hope that you listen well. So at this point, I'd like to give the floor to our first speaker. She will be speaking about the Masters of Research and Mobility Schemes. Please help me welcome, even virtually, Ms. Philomene Robin. And she is with you. Philomene, you have the room. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jenny. And actually, you're doing very well with my name. I'm very impressed by your French. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I know most of you are researchers and senior researchers or PhD students, so I'm going to be quick in order to let Dr. Marais, who's going to speak more specifically about research, some more time. Just to take one step back. Actually, when you wish to do some research in France, I know again you want to take a PhD and you want to jump straight into research, but I would advise you to consider doing a Master 2, like second year of Master in France before, because it makes it much easier for you to find a PhD advisor and to get used to your laboratory, to get used to your, how would I say, to research methodology, which is very specific to France. Again, Dr. Marais is going to tell more to you about this, but do not consider that doing again a second year of master, whether if you already are a master graduate, is losing your time. It can make your PhD and your post-PhD time much easier, actually. And it can also make it easier to get some scholarships. Just a quick outlook. So France is definitely a scientific country. We have many Nobel Prizes and some Fields medals. If I'm not mistaken, I think we are still the first country on earth for Fields medals. I just let you take a look at Mr. Gerard Mourou, who won a Nobel Prize in Physics in 2018, Mrs. Duflo, whom you may have heard about, who won the Nobel Prize in Economy in 2019, and Ms. Charpentier, who won it this year in chemistry. France is definitely a country where you would meet some international student fellows. In 2018-2019, there were almost 247,000 foreign students, of which 23,474 were doing a PhD. It is important because it means you're not going to get lost in translation and feel alone in France where everyone would be speaking French and be familiar with the country. You are going to meet some fellow international students, some people that would be exactly in the same situation as you, and some people that would become your professional network after you graduate. There are now almost 360,000 international students in France, which is quite, I believe, a good number given the global health situation. A good reason why you should come to France to study. Oh, I think I got a problem with my PhD, my PPT. Please hold on a second. The reason why you should choose France, apart from its scientific level, it's because the tuition fee in France are extremely low compared to the average tuition fee everywhere on earth. I'm going to say it because I'm not too sure it's going to show. For a PhD degree, that would be 5,000 euros per year, which is really, I'm sorry, 500 euros per year if you have a scholarship, and 5,000 euros per year if you do not have a scholarship. And for a master degree, that's 3,500 euros. I'm really sorry, I cannot show you. It's showing, and you even have the Indonesian rupiah. Anyway, you have a rough idea of the tuition fee. The thing I really want you to know is that it's not because education is cheap in France, it's because the French government actually finances 70% of the tuition fee. It finances it for everyone. It's out of the French taxpayer contribution, and it makes it much cheaper for anyone, international student or French. Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to skip this slide, which is beautiful as you can see, but I'm pretty sure I can share my PowerPoint with you afterwards. How many scholarships can we offer in Indonesia? We have 35 new scholarships this year and 85 altogether, because some people, of course, when you're doing your BA or your master degree or your PhD, you got your scholarship for the number of years you're going to study for your degree. I'm going to tell you a little bit more of some of them. The French, what we call beasiswa partial. Can you still see my PowerPoint?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We can.
Because I can't see it anymore. Just give me one sec. beasiswa partial is for BA students, so it's not what you, well, you could tell it to your little brother or your little sister, but definitely not for you. France Excellence, that's a full scholarship, either for a first year of master degree or a second year of master degree. We receive almost 54, I think 55 applications this year, and we only have 8 of them, so you definitely need to be excellent. There is no specific field of study. We just look at how you did perform in SATU 1, in SATU, sorry. And then for the best student, you have an oral examination with Dr. Marais, who you will meet tonight. Another one of our colleagues with a PhD in social sciences, myself and my deputy. We also have a program with the Islamic Development Bank. That's a joint program, and one FL scholarship and 6 MOBGA. I'm going just to let you know more about these scholarships. France Excellence, just to let you know, the Islamic Development Bank program. It's jointly supported by France and the Islamic Development Bank. It's open to 27 fields of study. That's quite a lot, but still it means that not everyone is entitled to this scholarship. You could visit the website here, and I believe the calendar for registration is going to be the same in 2021, meaning that you could get ready by March and start just having all documents ready by early June. Excellent FL. This one is pretty tough. You have to go through your institution, meaning your French university, and your French university is going to apply for you. The first selection is made by the French university, and then we do receive the application given according to the grades and the how they would rank you. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about this one. MOBGA is Make Our Planet Great Again. It's an initiative for the French President of the Republic, and it was launched in June 2017 after Donald Trump decided the USA would leave the Paris Agreement. Paris Agreement was signed in 2015, and it's an international agreement to fight against global warming. So this calls to researchers, professors, association, NGOs, and students to join France to lead the fight against global warming. It does mainly target master, PhD, and postdoctorate students in 4 fields of studies: climate change, sustainability science, energetic transition, earth system sciences, societal challenges of environmental issues. It's an excellent scholarship. It's a full scholarship, and it gives you access to a wide network of researchers in the same field of studies, worldwide network. And so the timeline is going to be the same in 21, but for those of you who are taking a PhD, I'd like you to know that there will be a MOBGA 2, another program, which is going to be called One Health. And this one is for people who could apply in the fields of studies linked to health and, of course, pandemic, coronavirus, and this, how would I say, hot topic related to the health situation we know now. So I cannot tell you more now because it's not made yet, but I think we will have some more news within 2 or 3 months. So please get in touch with us if you are interested, and we'll share the information. One tool, the most useful tool you will get about scholarships in France is the web page Campus Bourses, Bourses being scholarships in France. Don't worry, the name is French, but it's in English, in Spanish. I don't think you can find Bahasa Indonesia, but you definitely can find it in English. And it tells you about everything about scholarships, not only the French embassy scholarships, not only the university scholarships, but also what regional authorities can offer, what the companies can offer, and any kind of scholarship we don't even know about. I think there's more than 85 links that can be useful to you on this website. On the same website, not the same page, in Campus PhD, you could find something like 700 PhD topics that are not taken yet, but that are of interest to some French research unit. Again, it's not, sometimes it helps, sometimes it's not exactly what you are looking for, but it gives you a very strong idea of what you can do in France, what you can research, and who's interested in it. Because then you need to get in touch with the research institution and to see whether they're a PhD supervisor for you there. More helpful. If you have some question, if you find that our website is not so clear, or if you have some very specific question and you don't want to spend hours on a website, get in touch with us. All of these people on the screen, they can speak perfect Bahasa, 5 of them being Indonesian, and the 6th one is really fluent in Bahasa. So get in touch with them depending on the city you're living in. Jakarta, Bandung, Surabaya, Yogyakarta, Medan, and they can help you out, maybe not finding a PhD supervisor, maybe not finding you the right institution, but at least for the first step. When you really don't know what you're going to do and where you want to do it, they can help you with your first questions. And of course, you can get in touch with me anytime, and with my deputy as well, Mrs. Anissa Fozia, would be always glad to answer your question. I will now let Dr. Marais tell you more about research in France. Thank you very much, TERIMA KASIH, and I hope to see you in France someday.
Thank you so much, Philomen, for that. That's a wealth of information. I hope you guys took notes. I just wanted to inform everyone there are 121 people in the room. So to all of you, salamat malam and bonsoir. And welcome again to European Research Day. I'm gonna take the time to get some questions here. This first question is in French, so I will translate it into English. Thank you so much, Google Translate. Philomen, if you don't mind, there's a question. Hello, I wanted to know if it would be possible to apply for PHC Nusantara, but with a shorter stay. Personally, I already have a partner to do a collaboration in France, but at the professional level. It is quite difficult for me to stay in France for 3 months. So would you like to take this question, Philomen?
I would love to. because PhD is one of our best programs, but actually TERIMA is in charge, and I'm very sure he wants to tell a lot about it. So I would feel like taking the fun from him.
That's fine. We'll reserve that for later. I will ask that with Thierry later. There's one other question here. What's the minimum requirement for the IELTS score? So this is the English proficiency score to take a PhD there, or if even it is required. Philomen?
I think, well, I shouldn't say so, but I think for PhD, there is no specific requirement. There is one for master degree, but people consider that a PhD student is so good in his or her field that he or she can still communicate no matter what. That's for science PhD. For social sciences PhD, I don't want to be mistaken. I think that would be the equivalent of the European competency framework for C1.
Okay. All right.
And
thank you.
I cannot tell you the number, I would be mistaken, but I could. Do we have a chat on this webinar? Yeah, okay, I will put it, I will check it and put it on the chat.
Thank you so much. And you've learned a lot already. You learned about the EFL scholarships, the IDB scholarships, and my personal favorite, because I just learned about it now, the MOPGA, Make Our Planet Great Again. That's a really great scholarship as well. So please watch out for that, especially since it's going to tackle a lot of these very, very important issues that's plaguing the world today. One last question for you, Philomen, before I go to the next speaker. Do you have to be capable in speaking French if you want to apply for a PhD there?
I would love to say yes, because that would be good for French language, but actually not. You can take any PhD in English in France. That's quite new. It wouldn't be the case 15 years ago, but now it's definitely, except of course, if you're taking a PhD on French literature or this kind of very, very specific topic. But English PhD are always welcome. Just one thing, I would advise to get some basic survival French to enjoy your experience, but that's not scientific. It's about your social life.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to enjoy and have a conversation, you know, with people along the street that really have this full French experience, then you should learn French, at least to enjoy. Thank you so much, Philomen. I'll let you go a bit, and I'll go to our next speaker. He will talk about research funding opportunities in France. Please help me welcome, even virtually, Mr. Thierry or Dr. Thierry Mare. The room is yours. Thank you so much.
So thank you. Okay. So thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Suzanne and Philomen. I just have to. Okay. Thank you, and good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here and to talk about a short overview of French-Indonesia cooperations. So let me start by giving you some background information. So it began in 1952 when EFAO started its research in archaeology in Indonesia. It later on in 1969, Indonesia and French agreement was made with first education and research exchange by providing scholarship. In 2009, officially agreement was created between Indonesian and French ministries, and they both providing the financial support. Then other important dates for arrangement on the field of higher education, bilateral cooperation in science, technology, and innovation, and finally, an annual meeting between our two countries since 2019. Okay, so at the moment we have 30 double degree, more than 300 research joint scientific projects, and more than 3,500 research working with Indonesia. Now let's move to collaboration and citation. Okay. At the first figure, we have international collaboration between France and other countries. As you can see, 50% of scientific papers in the journal are made in international cooperation. On the next figure, we can also see the same ratio achieved by the Indonesian side. So let me precise this result is derived from the Web of Science, which take account of international scientific index, journal and book chapters. It is quite different from CINTA index, which takes account international journal and national journals. So when we compare to another countries, so the third figure, France is one of the 7th rank with a ratio of only 2.6%. But in the other hand, the total of number of co-publication is increased, and this in all thematics. We can see that agriculture, sustainable development, volcanology represents 50%. It is due to the French International Research Center established in Indonesia, CIRAD and ERD. So what we provide, we connect and bridging one into another, then after on we promote and support. Research funding. So first one is we can provide 3 kinds of financial support. First one through science and impact, supporting by French embassy. The second one is PhD Nusantara, co-funding by French and Indonesia ministries. And the third is an open program, but not managed by our French embassy. So the PhD is available from all topics, from physics, science, until social science. This year we add new topics in relation with the post-COVID and health, like this, that you can see. So all topics except for nuclear, military, and defense. So we can apply from Indonesian side. Lecturer at universities under Kemdikbud are welcome to apply. On French side, researchers from university lab and research institutions. The funding is essential for mobility. From the Indonesian side, you may get additional financial support for research. For the mechanisms, so yeah, that you can see, you have to propose, you prepare the same joint research proposal, same title, same content. For Indonesian researchers, you apply through SAME site. For French researchers, through Campus France, we review and classify the project from each side. On the Indonesian side, they provide additional research support for the project. So after we evaluate and selected, we match all the list and selected the best project, and we publish the results. For your information, we have selected this year 10 projects for 2-year duration with a grant of 10,000 euro per year average from the French side. It's quite the same from the Indonesian side. So we can see you have 50% chance to get it. So that is the important date. So you can see that the deadline is 20 October, so tomorrow, for the call 2020. But to have chance to get PhD Nusantara by myself, by my experience, it takes 1 year to meet French partner, prepare and build around 2 years research project. So you have time to apply for next year. Next year it will be around the same date. And about science and impact, it's a short proposal, simple, easy, and flexible. It's around, you can request around 10,000 euros. It's for mobility, conference, internships, student supervision, program material, and all of things. For example, this year we receive 68 projects. For average budget per project is request average 6,000 euros. We selected 28 projects and give a budget around 3,000 euros by project. So it's cover all kind of topics, mission, networking, and other. The calendar, the open call for proposal science and impact is around January. So to start all of this, you have information on the IFI website and other useful information on French Research Ministry and Campus France website. So TERIMA KASIH. And if you have any question about research cooperation, I can answer with my pleasure.
Thank you very much, Didi. That was like a lot of information as well. I hope the 124 of you inside the room took notes. So we're gonna start. We won't waste time. We're gonna start with the open forum because I see a lot of questions here now. I'd like to go back to the question that I asked to Philomen that was written in French, but I translated it into English. So if you don't mind, Thierry, there's a question here that says, I want to know if it would be possible to apply for PhD Nusantara, but with a shorter stay. Personally, I already have a partner to do a collaboration in France, but at the professional level, it is quite difficult for me to stay in France for 3 months. What do you think, Thierry? Is it possible?
I don't understand why to stay 3 months in France. You are not obliged. Nobody is obliged to do that. So to get a PhD Nusantara, you have to make a report. You have to work. For me, 1 year. 1 year. It takes 1 year to have a good project, to meet the partners, and to apply with agenda, with a budget, and impact of the research project. And after, in the budget, you request for mobility. From the French side is during 2 years mobility, and from the Indonesian side is exactly only 3 months mobility for the first year. But you are not obliged to get mobility. I don't understand exactly the problem.
Okay, thank you. If you, for that person who wrote the question, perhaps you'd like to clarify what exactly you need, and then ask it again in the chat box, and we'll ask it if we have the time. Okay. We'll go to the next question. There's a question here. How about philosophy research in France? Is there an opening for philosophy research?
Is the France is open for researchers? The question.
It's philosophy. Philosophy as a course.
Okay, philosophy. Okay, I don't know this kind of.
If I may, Dr. Marais is a hardcore scientist.
Yes.
Science. I understand.
If I may, it's definitely open to philosophy. It's quite a field in France. And you could do your PhD in philosophy in France, either in English or in French. Again, if you are studying Jean-Paul Sartre in 55, of course, you're supposed to speak and read French. But if you are studying the impact of German philosophy on French history in the 18th century, you could very well do it in English. although you're supposed to speak German, I guess. It's always a bit tricky with social sciences because of the lit review. So unless you choose a topic where everything is written in English and every relevant source could be found in English, I guess you would need a bit of French. I'm afraid so. But I'm glad to know some people are planning to study philosophy in France. I hope we will get in touch again with him or her. I'm sorry,
Yes,
Thierry. But...
philosophy.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Philomen. There's another question here. Do you have a program for professors to do research in the university in France? I think there was a mention already from these two speakers, but would you like to elaborate? Thierry, is there a program for professors?
PhD in Ottawa is good for professors traveling and spend 3 months in France in a research program. In France, we have each university and CNRS laboratory. We have some financial support to invite a guest foreigner researcher. So it's big. The first thing is to have contact partner in France, and the French partner request university to get this fund to invite research. I did that many times in my university.
Okay, that's great. So you have to find a potential partner, and actually Euraxis can also help with that apart from IFI. So there's a wealth of information in the website. So all you have to do is just sit down, and try to search as much as you can. And we are also here to support you if you have other questions. There's another question here. Is there any advice on how to get a postdoc in France? And how likely is the opportunity to get a faculty position? I guess as I understand it, like after doing postdoc in France, to have a position in a French university. Philomen, would you like to take this on?
I think it's very well depending on your topic again. In social sciences, if you are studying something related to Indonesian language, I'm going to take the easiest figure. But if you're studying Indonesian language or anything related to Indonesia in France, if you are doing a post-PhD in France, you are very likely to get a position. I'm just afraid it wouldn't be a full professor position, which takes some more national examination. Well, in France, we are very fond of national examination, meaning you could get 5 PhDs and you have to take another examination if you want to get a full professor position, but you are very likely to get a university position. In sciences, well, what I would call hardcore sciences, Thierry, I would tend to think as well you are very likely to stay working in your university, but it's going to be very hard to get the position you could expect with your PhD.
Yeah, or a tenured position. Thierry?
For the postdoc, you mean? Postdoctoral?
After taking your PhD.
Okay,
That's
okay.
Right.
When you get a PhD in France, it's European PhD, so the diploma is okay for all the Europe and all the world. So you can get a position. You have to apply. It's depending of the quality of your PhD. You mean to be lecturer, something like that?
Yes.
Okay, to be lecturer, depending of your PhD, you need some publication, international publication doing, so it's depending of your supervisor on the topic. But you can apply, no problem. There is a position.
Yes, you just have to use the time when you are there to publish and to present yourself as well to the community, especially to the scientific community that you expand your network. So just try. All right, I'll go to the next question. are there many research centers in France that focuses on Indonesian research? I'll give this to you, Thierry.
What do you mean about Indonesian research? Because in Indonesia, sorry?
Perhaps a focus on Indonesian themes, if am I understanding the question correctly? Are there research centers that focuses on research that is on Indonesian matters or Indonesian themes? I hope I'm understanding this correct.
Okay. In Indonesia, we have French centers in Indonesia. So CIRAD is working on about agriculture and palm oil. And we have ERD research development. They are working about volcanology, tsunami and earthquake, but also about biodiversity, and they're working. So this topic is in Indonesia, and we have a lot of research center working with LIPI and Indonesian Research Center on the same topic. So it's not a problem. In Indonesia, we have a lot of researchers and a lot of topics, and we can match with French research. So
yeah, so I think it's also a matter of finding out if your chosen research is something that is of interest also to France, and if it is also a focus right now in the centers that are the French centers that are existing in Indonesia. So there is already an opening for you to keep on communicating with our speakers here and with Euraxis ASEAN. So just write, and let's see what we can find out for you after this webinar. The next question is really for Philomen. Is it possible to find funding for co-tutelle for a doctorate in France and the UK?
I would even say if you have a co-tutelle, you're much more likely to get your funding, because it means that two different universities, two different supervisors found you excellent enough to supervise your PhD. So it definitely sends a good signal. But there is no specific co-tutelle scholarship, and I think you're much more likely than someone else to get your funding with such a co-tutelle.
Okay, there you have it. So I think that's very clear. I think we can go to the next question, because there's a lot of questions, and I'm very happy that our audience right now are very engaged. There's a question on, okay, is there any university or research center committed on digitizing old manuscripts? Or I don't know what this is, but doing OCR. Not sure what OCR is, but digitizing old manuscripts. Is there a research center committed to that, or a university in France? I think this is social sciences, so I'll give it to you.
Well, Thierry was telling you about PHC Nusantara, and we had once such a PHC, but which was for the whole region, for ASEAN as a whole. And there was one awardee who was working on ancient manuscripts. So I'm pretty sure there are some people working on it, and they did get a scholarship in 2015 or 16, most likely 15. And I'm very sorry, I forgot the Indonesian university. The French partner with University of La Rochelle, and there was an ICT lab, but I also forgot the name. Well, there are at least two universities, two research centers working on it in France. And there are at least one Indonesian university who did it. I think it was ITB, but I may be mistaken. Again, if you're really interested in this, send me an email, and I promise I can dig and find the project.
Thank you for that. So send an email to Philomen, and then you can have more information. I'll give you the next question.
Let's be transparent, if I may. I'm sorry, Jenny. I'm going to be very honest. It's one of our colleagues now at the French embassy who was working on in his previous life. He was a researcher, and
okay.
he was part of this project. That's why I'm very sure I can give you the information you're looking for.
Even more, even better. So thank you so much for that. So there's information that's for you. So whoever gave that question, please get in touch with Philomen so that you can have this this information for you. All right. So Thierry, there's a question here. This person says, I would like to ask about the scholarship for postdoctoral or internship in laboratories for research activities. And this person says, actually, I am a new PhD. This person got their PhD from the Czech Republic, but I have a plan to do an internship and postdoctoral after I finish my PhD. So basically, it's a general question if there is a scholarship for postdoctoral. Thierry, I think I can't hear you.
Excuse me. So you don't give scholarship for post PhD, but the French laboratory, when they have financial support to get post PhD, they call through internet by web. So you have some site like Your Access is a site. You have a website like Bernard Gregory, some typical website. You can find a lot of PhD and post-PhD with financial support, but it's open on the world and you can apply. So I can send the address, the link of this.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be very helpful indeed. There is another question that just came in. This is interesting. This person wants to pursue a PhD in epidemiology and biostatistics, very much needed during this time in France. Which resources do you recommend to find opportunities? I'll start with you, Thierry, and then Philomen, maybe you can add as well.
I don't know. If he finished PhD, if PhD is finished.
This person wants to do a PhD, so yeah, entering a PhD.
PhD, okay. Yeah. So I don't know that I know a lot of laboratory, they get a lot of funds from Europe, from a lot of, so they develop a lot of research about that. So I'm sure there are a lot of opportunities. So we have to look for the good website where we can find this opportunity. Maybe Philomen knows.
I would say, like, first, perhaps on campus Bourses, which is this French campus scholarship. I'm pretty sure this kind of topic is extremely easy to research. And please keep an eye on this MOBGA. If we have next year, like 2021, a MOBGA One Health, please do apply.
Yes.
And again, get it.
MOBGA. I will never forget that. It's very easy to remember. Make our planet great again. Okay, so it's indeed a responsibility for everyone to make our planet great again. And as what Philomen was sharing a while ago, they are going to open opportunities, especially for you know, these issues that are plaguing our world at this moment, like the coronavirus, and also about climate change. If I heard it correctly from you, Philomen, this earlier. So please watch out for that. So in the next months, they will be giving other information on this. So just keep in touch with all of us. All right. So here's a question. Right now we are jumping for undergraduate. So I think I'll give this to Philomen. Is it common or possible for internships for undergraduate students from Indonesia in French laboratories? It's undergraduate, not PhD.
It's quite common if you're taking your master's degree in France, but it's extremely difficult if you just want to go to France to intern. because the French laboratories, like the French companies, for legal issues, they're quite reluctant to take in someone without a student status. It's much easier if you got an agreement with your university to do this internship. So if you want to do a 6 months internship in France, I'm afraid you have to consider a 1-year master degree. And we have a lot of questions about internships, and I wouldn't advise to seek for one. It's too complicated on the legal side.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but there are a lot of opportunities for even for undergraduate and master's students. So please check that out. And then when you're there, which is usually what other, like with Erasmus Mundus students, for example, usually when they're there, then they find internships much easier. So I think that's something that you can look forward to. There's another question, and this will be a difficult question, I think, for both of you, because this would your bias might come out with this question. The question is, what is the best university to study a doctorate in international relations in France?
It's my university.
See, I knew it.
Yes. I took it. That's where I'm doing it. Well, the best school, what will be considered as the best school, and I would be a bit blunt, the easiest degree to sell on the international market. That would be from Sciences Po. That's a French elite school, and they have an excellent international relations school with a lot of extremely good researchers. Still, if you're not accepted at Sciences Po, you could do it at the universities of Paris too, which is my university, and this one is a little bit more on peace and security issues. And then they have an international relations PhD at Paris 1, 2, and to be honest, in some other French universities, I'm less familiar with. But if you're seeking for the best degree and you want to, how would I say, to flash it out, you should go for Sciences Po.
Okay, so there is a recommendation for Sciences Po, and second for the University of Paris too. So,
exactly.
Thierry, what do you think?
Okay, about scientific, we have not the same problem, because all the diploma are the same everywhere in university. We have some engineer school, okay, good engineer school beside the university, but at university you can change university every time during your courses because it's the same level. So we have not this kind of competition in science, except for engineer school.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We're coming to the end of our webinar, but I wanted to take this opportunity to ask both of you, because you both are from France, if you were going to ask by any of the 125 people inside this room why they should study in France or why they should carry out their research in France, from your perspective, what would you say? I'll start with you, Philomene.
I would say because France is one of on the scientific level, social sciences and sciences on the same foot. It's one of the most demanding countries, but it's also one of the best. And I know, like, the French language can be a barrier, but it's also something more. Once you get your degree, you've got an international degree with a very good international value. Plus, you do speak English, and you speak French, and you speak Bahasa Indonesia. So it makes that's a value added.
Thank you, Philomene. Thierry?
Exactly the same about the level of French university, and because it's not expensive in France. When you are a student, fees are quite free, and after you can get additional funding and grant for accommodation. And when you go on a university restaurant, it's quite €1 €1 meal is very easy when you are a student to live in France. I think you can live with accommodation and everything with €500 max, something like that.
I think we are all.
Maybe not in Paris, but other parts. So it's a good opportunity. A lot of English people want to.
Yeah, I'll apply also tomorrow. You have excellent research, excellent opportunity, amazing laboratories, and also a beautiful way of life. So there's a lot to look forward to when it comes to France. So thank you very much to both of you. Terima kasih, merci beaucoup. I'd like to give the room now to Susan for some reminders and also some things to close the time that we have together. Susan?
Thank you so much. Yes, I just wanted to add, of course, France is also one of the founding fathers of the European integration process. It is right in the middle of Europe. So when you are researching in France, you are in the heart of the European research area. And the European research is all about, or the European research area is all about getting rid of barriers. So you're really incredibly well connected. And I think Thierry was alluding to this as well. Of course, there's the Bologna process, which has, made sure that in Europe, European degrees are very much comparable, which is a reason why it's so easy for you to move from one university to the next, and that you can, really build your research career, not just in one country, but really in a whole continent. Before we close, I just really wanted to just quickly show you again the Euraxis page. And I've heard a lot what people were asking about opportunities in France. Can I find funding? Can I find jobs in a very niche area? Really, your first go-to tool should be Euraxis France, which you find on the Euraxis portal here under National Portals. And here you find all information about what we've been discussing tonight. Where are the jobs? And you see 523 open vacancies across France at this very moment. So a wonderful opportunity for you to dig in, but also, French network, information assistance, all kinds of information that was kind of asked tonight about language, about culture, about visa, about work permits, etc. So this is really a fabulous tool for you to get started. And then please do make sure to check in the Euraxis ASEAN website maybe once a week if you can. I've just clicked here on your opportunities tab, because making the planet, sorry, now I've forgotten the acronym, of course, but we do, of course, advertise all these opportunities on our website, so that it's very easy for you to just look at this once a week and see what opportunities are coming up. And of course, the Eiffel scholarships are advertised here as well. And here at the bottom, you find all our activities and events that are interesting for you, hopefully. So just really as a reminder, it's all there. The opportunities are there. Philomène and Thierry are there. So all you have to do is just to connect the dots, find what interests you, and then reach out to them and grab the opportunity. And off you are in Paris, wearing a beret and eating a baguette, hopefully soon. And I think with this, thank you all for joining. It was a wonderful evening, and we hope to see all of you soon in France or in Europe. So stay safe, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Night.
Bye.